Welcome to another Sengoku Jidai battle. In this match against Fibin, I have the Zheng Dynasty against the Japanese Home Army. So if I recall correctly, the Zheng Dynasty was a Ming breakoff fighting against the Qing until they eventually were forced to withdraw from mainland China to modern Taiwan, where they expelled a Dutch East India Company fortress and colonial outpost. And that's about all I remember. Basically, they are mostly a conventional Chinese force with some twists. For one thing, their cavalry is bad. They're all the overpriced 400-man units, which gets extra resiliency, but they're just hideously expensive and not generally worth it. They have impact foot, which are above average, or some of them are above average, which is quite nice, although they are medium foot and not warriors. They can't charge down like cavalry, and they only move 2 tiles. The armored infantry here, the Tiaren, are superior, whereas mostly these guys in the Ming list are average. We also get a unit of African infantry armed with muskets. These are, I believe, either deserters or captured troops from Portuguese colonial armies that were, I think, largely enslaved or in some way unfree and forced into the Portuguese army, and some of them joined up, or were joined up, I'm not sure which, with the Zheng army. So the Japanese home army is the late Sengoku style army, so the Samurai are still warriors. The Ashigaru are medium foot at this point, so 2 tiles and can't charge unlike cavalry. They have a lot of matchlock men if they want them. And for lights, they actually do get Teppo Samurai, which are basically like dragoons and pike and chop, but superior and with swordsman skill and wearing armor. They also get 1 unit of light artillery if they want them, but that's it. So we have quite a bit of artillery to start with. I don't think I'll put points in any more. As the match host, I deploy down here. So key terrain, if I want it, these hills and forests, but that's a bit far back. Next bit of key terrain, this hill. So maybe what I want to do is try to occupy this hill and have the left wing occupied by the little bit of cavalry I have. We'll see. I want these musketeers, even though they're expensive, because they're fun. The only unit in the game armed with muskets, by the way. And otherwise, let's see. We have good melee infantry, so we might as well make use of it. And matchlock men with light guns, bows. The bows aren't going to do a lot. I mean, archery is pretty ineffectual against armored foot, but we'll grab some. And 130 points I think I should probably put into cavalry, even though it is spendy. At least for the flank threat. Is it worth it with raw cavalry? Well, they're cheap and they cause a flank threat, so if I keep them away from getting shot at, it should be fine. Leaving me with 28 points for some kind of trash, presumably. Matchlock with light spear, or just matchlock? Matchlock with light spear. Okay, should be a tough match. The Japanese are a very good melee-centered infantry army, so we're gonna have to get creative. Alright, deployment. I know I initially talked about trying to occupy this hill, but my deployment zone is here, so given that I would spend a bunch of time marching over here and then staring at a bunch of trees that I couldn't see into, I decided we would just take the straightforward, honest center approach. Guns will move up here, and we'll see how Fabin deploys and just slug it out in the open. Next turn, we'll see his force comp and deployment. Well, maybe, depending on how much is in this forest. There is a lot hidden. We'll stay out of musket shot and work on the troops in the open. Oh no. Into that forest and into this forest with melee troops and matchlock men. Makes sense. keeping the bulk of the heavy foot in reserve for the moment. Okay, well, first off, let's get this heavy artillery set up and unlimbered. Next, we can start pushing infantry to occupy this forest. We have plenty of both melee and ranged infantry to work with. In the meantime, we can just advance slightly. We'll need impact foot in the woods. And push more impact foot towards this forest while the cavalry maybe works its way around. There we go. So we'll take this, attempt to take this while keeping our main line here, and see what kind of reaction we get. Next turn. If he moves these spearmen into the forest, we'll march in to meet him. Then it will be worth it. Let's push this flank. There we go. We'll need artillery to suppress this cavalry advance. What to do with the main infantry line? I think we can stop at just outside of musket shot for now, or matchlock fire. Okay, the plan remains the same for the moment. Next turn. Okay, if he's pushing his spears into the forest, then we need to advance into the forest. Most of our infantry has no melee capability and will be moderately disordered, but spears will be severely disordered, making up for their melee capability. Alright, keep up a steady advance. Keep this cavalry in reserve here. These guns, I'm not sure. I think they'll stick around. And we'll move up to the edge of the forest. But we need to make sure to get to the forest edge quickly so that they can't charge out and be formed and steady before contact. Two units of cavalry, superior and average. Mine are both raw, so most likely what I'll want to do is shove my cavalry in the rough so that they can be disordered. They might evade anyway. Next turn. Okay. His general's tent must be here or here. Could consider hunting it down. Well, we can open up now. And enter the rough ground. Onward. Next turn. No sightings yet. Falling back, that's unfortunate. We do want to try to catch them in the wood. Okay, that's a bit problematic. I don't want to disrupt, so I might try to draw fire with the guns. Very good. And then what? Into the forest with our melee foot. And prepare to force a flank with that unit. That'll keep the cavalry off of us. Here we go. Then what? Keep the horsemen around to engage his horsemen? Or... not really sure what to do with them. Could try to arc wide around. Also seems pretty risky, but that's what we're gonna do. Also want to just ignore the whole situation, push back this way. Whatever. There we go. So now we can advance into the woods and see what we see. Hello. Huh. Okay. Let's see who pops up into our field of view. Can you hit anything? Yes, so why not? Next turn. Oh, hello. Lovely. So these are our armored swordsmen, so we're going to lose the melee. We need to get supports up rapidly. Decide if I shoot or charge here, but I should probably just keep shooting. Let's charge in here. It's pretty even. We have troop quality, they have a general. Neither is good, but I think charging is better than trying to engage in a firefight against musketeers, or matchlock men in this case. Good. Now, let's see. Hopefully there isn't someone lurking like here for a flank. I'm gonna risk getting dropped. And we'll need to start preparing for a charge by these spearmen. I might want to rush into this forest soon. Maybe sacrifice one unit. Alright. So here, although we are armored, we get no armor advantage because these are matchlock men. Matchlock cancels armor even in melee. But we have troop quality and a melee capability, so we're up 150 anyway. I wonder if I turn to face, will they still be in charge range? I guess I'm not sure. There we go. And I think I'm going to say good enough and instead use this cavalry to slow down this little advance here. I can sit here and wait. Anything to hit? Not really. I should have turned them first. Oh well. Next turn. Oh, they're coming out. Interesting. Well, we're just going to keep piling in. Good. Another disruption. Okay, in that case, let's start the ball rolling here. Full strength superior troops holding firm, not a big surprise. And let's pile African battalion into the woods. Fall back a tile here. Might need to sacrifice a unit or two. Zone in this cavalry. There we go. Okay, do I charge? It would expose our flank. Don't really like that idea. Let's zone of control lock this unit instead. Next turn. No problem. Alright. Cavalry's raw, so it's generally going to evade whenever it can. That was perfect. Couldn't have set it up better if I tried, honestly. Oh, hello. Well, we'll get flanked, but hopefully it won't be a big deal because the enemy's already disordered so badly. Here. For the frag, break, and then hopefully pursue into the wing of the later Tetboashka. Alright, never mind. Well, do we dare? We do. Cover the wing, fire, charge in. And this unit, turn, and fire, and fire, and a bit of a dick move, to be honest, but try to Zocklock with the light artillery. I think that will work. I should have fired with the guns first. Ooh, 42 again, but they didn't frag, so we might have to take a charge. In the meantime, we loose and fire and shuffle down towards the main fight. Who's left? Yes. So we'll just keep shooting. We're gonna have to take a hit here. It's not gonna be pretty. This unit will stay in position, then go for the flank charge when they turn to face. Next turn. Okay, yeah, as long as we hold up a disrupted, we should be okay. That might be close enough for a rear charge, actually. Okay, lots of options. First off, let's push in and move around so we can start getting positioned to flank here. How's this melee? Lose 11% because of a lack of any sort of POA. This is interesting. Spearman plus 25. Interesting. So it doesn't really spell it out, but it's plus 25 because they're frag. But I never noticed that before. Huh. Right. Yeah, shove them along. Great. Shove them along to push around. Okay. Get that frag. And fire. Can we hit anyone? No, because they're in melee. Goodbye. And we'll come out to fight with our infantry now. Perfect. If we're very lucky, we will follow through. But I don't know if we are, in fact, very lucky. We're going to try for it, though. I could move, but then I would get charged. I think I'll just sit in this arc here and try to zone control lock the Yeti as they move up with my cavalry. These guys, the African battalion, will also just sit here. Once our artillery breaks, they can pour in musketry from the flank. Okay, it's looking like we've reached the end. Got that break, and then it looks like we're going to get that pursuit charge as well. There we go. Basically, don't take spearmen into the forest, or even get that near to the forest. I think if Fabin had either stuck to defending this hill or had gone all in on his right flank, I would have had a tougher time. More units here would have meant more of a battle in the open, which would have played to the strengths of his army. A fight in the forest was just much better for my infantry. And his cavalry couldn't intervene in time because the rough ground meant that he would have been slowed down had he stayed to fight, and then he ended up trying to move to flank, and I think just miscalculated a move and got caught in the rear. So I don't know what the balance really is between these two armies. I haven't played enough matches yet, but maybe in a little while I'll play a match from the other side and see how I can do. So a good game to Fabin, and until next time.